Good morning and welcome to my hobby bench once again. And on the table you will see that I have two sweet Weber motors. They call them motors, I call internal combustion engines. But these are twins in a sense, and these are recent acquisitions from eBay. And as all acquisitions of mine, there's usually a story that goes along with it. So if you don't want to hear the story, fast forward a little bit because I'm going to tell you the story. Anyway, before I tell you what these engines are. So I found these on eBay, I don't know, a week and a half or so ago. And I was like, holy crap, I've never had these engines before. These exact ones before, or at least, this exact engine before. So I thought, well, you know what, I'm just going to, and it was an auction, it wasn't a buy it now. So I'm like, I'm going to put, pretty decent bids on each of these engines, hoping that I get one of them. Knowing for sure, I was just absolutely confident that I would only get one of them and not both of them, but I hope to at least get one. So anyway, long story short, the auctions came and they were set up to be like, 5 to 6 minutes apart. And I don't sit there, if I do an auction, I don't sit there and watch it because these were ending early in the morning and I was busy doing stuff. So if I ever do an auction, I just put a bid out there, and if I don't get it, I don't get it, and I don't care. I don't sit there and watch it and keep incrementing my bid and doing all that kind of crap because A, it's stressful, and B, it's just bullshit. So anyway, these were ending minutes apart, so it wouldn't have been feasible to say, oh, I missed this one, oh, let me try and get this one. So I just put bids on each of them. Bottom line is I got each of them. Now, let me show you this one first. So, and this is one of the rare occasions where I don't know a whole lot about Weber motors. I don't know a whole lot about these. This particular one that's in the red box, there are 3 reviews on it. 3 reviews, all of this exact engine. But these are 2 4-stroke engines that are very different. So, without further ado, it's the T4. Oh, let's see. Let me pull this up here closer to you so you can see it. T440 4-stroke engine with TN carb, it says. Now, note here, it says ART number, or I think it's supposed to be a P there, but it's not. 104 4RC. Here's the other one. Weber T440 rear, it says. ART number 104 3RC. Now the two, before I open the boxes, the other thing I want to show you that I think is interesting is this one, the one that has the reviews on it, the reviews are from 1983. I couldn't find any information on this one, so I don't know if they came out at the exact same time, if this is a later version, I don't know. So I'm asking, this is one of the few times I'm actually going to say, anybody out there that watches this, if you have a lot more information on Weber engines, not motors, Weber engines, about these 2 particular ones in general and years of manufacture, why they're so different, please comment and share with the world, because there is very little information found on these engines. I found a link to an RC Universe forum thread that tells a little bit about this. People are kind of going back and forth. There's some pictures on there and everything. But here's the other thing I thought was interesting is on this box was a price tag of $179.75. Now on this box, there's a price tag of $309.95. It's like, holy crap, there's a huge difference there. So let me open up this box first. And this is exactly how the engine came. Unfortunately, it's not complete. It doesn't have instructions or anything. But this, let me zoom in here, is the 4-stroke is the T440. Now, some T440s of this vintage didn't have a painted belt cover, which I think is interesting. And just for the record, both of these engines are new in box, never been run. But so and I'll put up the relevant pictures of the review articles on this engine that I found, the 3, so you can see the configuration. I thought it was funny or odd that you had a carb mounted up to the head like that, and the exhaust is in the rear, and of course you got the glow plug here. So it was very confusing in these two ads because I was like, wow, this is weird. One looks totally different than the other, or, you know. Excuse me. But this is just a beautiful engine, and if I hold my finger here and bring it through, it's got, and I'm not obviously not sealing perfectly, but it's got really good compression right there. So I thought it was odd that this one has the carb mounted up high, and I've seen some videos on YouTube, or at least a video, where this could be an issue with your tank placement. So when or if I run this engine, I'm gonna have to bring my tank placement up. Now let me open up this other one and show you that this is the same looking engine. They're identical in size and everything. However, this one has an intake manifold on the rear and the carb down low, which would be a lot better, you know, for an airplane application. Now, so here's the reason why I know for a fact that both of these engines, although they look the same, are very, very different. And one of the reasons is that this, and I thought, well, maybe I can just move, you know, swap these carbs around or whatever. That won't happen, because this threaded in portion here, the hole here for the rear of the head is a very different size than the side. So both of the rear holes look to be the same, and I would assume that the top holes are then too. So obviously the carb from this engine, it could go here and I could have two carbs. Obviously that's not going to work. So I haven't taken this carb off, but I'm assuming that that's going to have a smaller hole there too. So what I saw in one of those threads from RC, and so here's the other thing with the exhausts. The exhausts are very different size threaded portions too. So this one goes here. This one goes the other way around like this. So the other thing that I heard or saw that I can't say is conclusive or not from that RC Universe thread was someone made the comment that maybe one of these was designed for RC car applications. I don't know. But because of the way that the carbs are mounted on these heads, that would seem to be a definite thing that there's something different in the head here as far as either the direction of the rotating valve or at least the porting, so that, because you can't have fuel intaking here and or here and have it operate. So these are clearly two very different engines, but boy, they sure look identical externally. So that's one of those things where if somebody had one or the other and they weren't aware of the part number differences, and they say they had this part, they had this engine, and they're like, oh, I need a new carb or whatever, and they can't find it. I don't know. There's so many similarities in the look of these engines that there could be issues with it, and I'm sure the heads are probably different too, even though externally everything looks damn near identical. So these are two what I would consider to be fairly rare engines. I mean, I've never had them on my channel. I've never had the opportunity to hold or play with one or own one or run one of these before, but you know, so maybe I really got super lucky here and got a couple of real rare gems, because they're both new in box, never been run, and quite hard to find, really. And that's why I was like, when I saw these listed on that auction, I was like, holy crap, I really think I need to take a look at these. So this second one here, the orange box one, did come with some instructions or some paperwork, I'll say. So it came with this advertising sheet, but you can see here's the 40, and it's showing this engine. It's not showing this one. And obviously one of these is, here's the 80 and here's the 60. I've had one of each of those before. So now I have owned, at one time at least, I don't still have them, one of each of all of these. One of each of all these, including one that's not even shown on here. And I don't think there's a picture on here. Oh, wait a minute, here we go. Look at this. Here's the back side of this. Wish there was a date on this. Because again here, it's showing... Oh, here we go. Here we go right here. This is it. This is it. 1044 car. Wait a minute. There's two listings here. Sorry, I don't think I had that up there. Two listings for the 1044. Best NR 1044 RC and then 1044 car. I don't know. Oh, okay. So the car one just has like a different... Okay, so this would imply that this particular engine was designed for an RC car, which is interesting that they already had these, the 60 and the 80, for airplanes, clearly. RC, I'm assuming when you say, well, no, it says RC. I guess when they say RC, they mean airplane. And car is car, obviously. So no, this is an airplane engine. They're both airplane engines, but I still think it's unusual that this one with the rear intake and carb is not shown on here. That's just really interesting. So if anybody is a real Webra guru and can clear up some of this information. Now I know for a fact this one here is from like 1982, 83, the review article. The one review article that had a date on it from Model Airplane News showed 1983. So I know it's at least that old. Whether this is the same year, vintage or not, I don't know. So here's the other piece of paper that came with this. One of them, Webra engine safety instructions. Okay, so this is just your standard safety instructions with no real relevant information there. And this is the one set of instructions. Now I do have PDF instructions on my Google Drives, the engine manuals thing that's always linked to all of my videos in the description, so you can go there and look at those. The instructions for that I've got cover all of the T4s. 40, 60, and 80, I believe. This one is specifically for the T440. I have not yet read it. Ensure proper fuel feed at all flight attitudes. The center of the tank should be aligned with the position of the spray bar. That would almost seem to imply that if you want your tank position to be at a normal, I'll say normal range, normal location in a plane, you probably have to have this thing side mounted, because upright, then you're going to have your tank position so high that it's just not going to work. So it's almost saying that you have to have this thing side mounted if you want to keep your tank in a normal position. Let's see here, installed, okay, whatever. So I do have this set of instructions. Propeller, a 10-4 it says for running in. Fuel Webra Spirit S, whatever the hell that is. Glow plug Webra 4, yeah right. You're never going to find a Webra 4 part number, at least not here in the States. I've never seen one. Talks a little bit about how to break it in. Talks about some other things here. So this has been probably not so short of a quick look at two Webra gems, and you know, this is kind of one of those things where I really want to run one of them. Whether I'll run both of them is unknown. I've seen a good video on YouTube with this one running. I don't know that I have found one with this one running, so that would be another thing. Let me know what you guys think about running these engines or not running them, and if I am to run one, should I run one or should I run them both, or should I just sell them to the highest bidder? Anyway, that's your video for today. Thank you.